When I realized my entire family had made a new group chat without me, I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I didn't even confront them. I just sat there watching the little preview pop up on my sister's phone screen while she laughed, completely unaware that I was standing right behind her. In that moment, something inside me didn't break, it hardened. Because if my own family could cut me out so easily, then maybe it was time I stopped holding on so tightly. Before we continue, please subscribe to the channel and let me know where you're listening from in the comments. My name is Kiera, I'm 28 years old, and for most of my life, I believed the only way to keep a family together was to bend until it hurt. I was the dependable one, the mediator, the helper, the planner, the listener. The one they called at 2 a.m. The one who loaned money. The one who understood. The one they took for granted. My mother, Gloria, always said, "Kiera's strong, she can handle anything." But she never asked if I wanted to. Then there was my sister Malia, the golden child. Beautiful, charismatic, the type who could do no wrong even when she absolutely did. And my older brother Jace, the family's ongoing project. Trouble followed him like a shadow, and somehow, it always became my problem to clean up. And then there was my Aunt Lorna, loud, dramatic, always stirring the pot but pretending it was for everyone's own good. But me, I was the glue. Invisible until they needed to stick something together. That week had been exhausting at work, so when Malia texted, "Come over, we're having a girls' night," I thought maybe I'd get a little warmth. Maybe I'd feel included. Maybe, just maybe, they'd treat me like family instead of a tool. So I went. Big mistake. I was in the kitchen getting water when Malia's phone lit up beside the sink. Normally I don't look at other people's screens, but my own name caught my eye. Family chat 2.0 red heart. Jace, don't tell Kiera about Saturday. Malia, obviously. Mom, she'll ask too many questions. Aunt Lorna, and she'll ruin the vibe. I stared at the screen until my chest tightened so hard I had to physically grip the counter. I told myself maybe it wasn't what it looked like. Maybe there was some reason. Maybe it was a mistake. But then Malia walked in, grabbed her phone, saw my expression, and took one tiny step back. "You weren't supposed to see that," she said softly, eyes flicking away like she was embarrassed, but not enough to explain. My throat burned. "You made a whole group chat, without me." She shrugged. "It's not personal." Except it absolutely was. Before I could ask anything else, she laughed nervously and said, "Come on, let's go back to the living room. Don't make it weird." That was the moment I realized my family didn't just forget about me, they actively planned around me. Excluding me wasn't accidental. It was organized. Something inside me twisted painfully, but I swallowed it. Like I always did. All evening, I sat there watching them share inside jokes, whisper to each other, and reference plans I clearly wasn't a part of. They didn't notice I'd gone silent. They didn't notice I barely touched my drink. They didn't notice the way my hands trembled. Because noticing me had never been their specialty. When I left Malia's apartment later that night, she hugged me at the door, quick, distracted, careless, and went back inside without looking up from her phone. I heard laughter before the door shut. Not mine. When I got home, I sat on my couch in the dark, replaying that glimpse of the group chat. My mind kept circling around the same thoughts. They didn't want me there. They didn't even feel bad. They planned to hide things from me. They think I'm a burden. Something about that realization wrapped around my heart like ice. The next morning, I woke up to messages not from the new group chat, of course, but from the old one that apparently no one used anymore. "Mom, good morning everyone. Don't forget Saturday." Everyone replied. Except me. On purpose. 5 minutes later, Malia texted me separately. "Key, you're still coming Saturday, right?" Ah. So I was excluded behind the scenes. But included when they needed something. It made my stomach twist. I typed, "What's happening Saturday?" She left me on read for 10 minutes before responding. "Oh, just a little get-together for my birthday. Nothing major." Except the group chat messages I saw last night had said the opposite. They were planning a full dinner, expensive restaurant, coordinated outfits, everything. And they didn't want me there. "You didn't mention your birthday," I texted back. Her reply stabbed. "You know you're not really into stuff like this." Translation: "We didn't want you." I put my phone down and stared across my apartment, the walls suddenly feeling too close and too thin. Years of being the responsible one, the reliable one, the afterthought. Later that afternoon, my cousin Rowan FaceTimed me unexpectedly. She rarely called without texting first. When I answered, her face looked troubled. Hey, are you okay? She asked. I blinked. Why? She exhaled. Kiera, I think you should see something. She sent a screenshot. My blood ran cold. It was from the new group chat. And my family wasn't just excluding me. They were talking about me. Not just petty stuff, ugly stuff. Heartless, dismissive things I never imagined they'd say about their own blood. My eyes stung as I read line after line. Then I reached the part that made my heart drop completely. Mom, we'll use Kiera's guest room while we renovate Malia's place. She won't mind. No one had asked me. No one had even told me. They were planning to move into my home. Without permission. Because they assumed I'd bend. They assumed I'd give up my own space. They assumed I'd stay quiet. Rowan whispered, I thought you knew. But I didn't. And in that moment, for the first time in my entire life, I felt something shift. Something final. Something irreversible. Something that whispered, enough. The betrayal wasn't an accident. It was a pattern. A choice. And I realized I was done begging for a family I never truly had. I looked down at my phone, at the group chat screenshot, at the message about my home, and slowly, quietly, I said, oh, they have no idea what they just started. I barely slept that night. Not because I was hurt, though the sting lingered in my chest like a bruise, but because my mind wouldn't stop replaying every moment I'd excused, every red flag I'd folded into a flower. When dawn broke, soft light leaking into my apartment, I realized something unsettling. My family had never seen me as a person, just a resource. Once that thought rooted itself, everything suddenly made sense. The late-night calls when Jace got into trouble, the "can you cover me" texts from Malia, the emotional unloading from my mother, the expectation that I'd host, pay, support, sacrifice. And in return, exclusion, silence, disrespect. A whole group chat built around keeping me out. My phone buzzed on the dresser. I didn't check it. Not yet. Instead, I got up, made coffee and sat at my kitchen table, letting the quiet settle around me. A strange calm washed over me, not peaceful, more like clarity. Clarity that felt long overdue. An hour later, my cousin Rowan texted. Rowan, Kiera, are you okay? I'm really sorry for showing you that. I just didn't want you blindsided. I typed slowly. Thank you. I needed to see it. She replied almost immediately. They'd been talking like that for a while. I didn't know how to tell you. A heaviness pressed on my chest, but not the kind that breaks you. The kind that makes you stronger. You did the right thing, I wrote back. Because now I knew. And knowing was power. A couple hours passed before the messages from my family started rolling in one by one. Not apologies. Not explanations. Not even attempts to include me. Just demands. Mom, can you confirm we're still coming to your place Saturday? Need to plan. I stared at the screen, stunned by the audacity. They were still planning to stay in my home. Without asking. Without permission. Without guilt. Malia. Also, if you're coming to my dinner, wear something cute. Not your usual beige stuff. I let out a short, humorless laugh. My usual beige stuff. The same clothes she borrowed every time she wanted to look soft and classy. I let the messages sit unread. An hour later, Jace chimed in. Jace. Hey Key, can I borrow your car Saturday? Need it for something important. You can Uber. It's fine. That was it. The breaking point arrived like a quiet click in my chest. They weren't just excluding me. They were planning to use me even more strictly because I wasn't included. As if exclusion itself made me more available. They were living their lives around me while expecting me to live mine for them. My fingers trembled not with fear, but with a rising heat I hadn't let myself feel in years. I opened the group chat they'd all abandoned. No new messages, not a single one. I typed anyway. Mom, no answer. Jace, nothing. Malia, silence. They had fully migrated to their new group chat, the one where I didn't exist. I set my phone down and walked to my bedroom, opening the drawer where I kept important documents. Lease agreements, receipts, bank statements, all the things I never asked them to help with, because I'd learned early that asking for help only made me appear needy. As I sifted through the neatly filed papers, I realized something subtle but powerful. Everything they planned depended on me, my space, my money, my time, my availability. Without me, their plans collapsed. The thought didn't bring me joy. It brought me justice. My phone buzzed again, this time, a long message from my mother. I read it slowly. Mom, Kiera, your sister is upset. She said you acted cold last night. If you're jealous about the dinner, don't be. Malia has more social friends, that's normal. You're just more quiet. It's okay. Jealous, quiet, cold. The way she boiled me down into adjectives, none of them loving, made something in my spine straighten. Then the message continued. Anyway, I told everyone we'd stay at your place after the dinner since Malia's place is getting repainted. I know you won't mind. I already told the landlord we'd be there. She told the landlord? That was the moment something cracked. Not my heart, not my spirit, my tolerance. She had no right to talk to my landlord, no right to plan to use my home, no right to assume access to my space like it was a public park. I stood up so quickly my chair scraped the floor. Enough. Enough bleeding for people who never stopped cutting. Enough bending for people who never broke for me. Enough being the easy one, the dependable one, the forgotten one. I walked to my couch, sat down, and opened a blank text message. To Mom, Malia, Jace. But this time, instead of sending something reactive or emotional, I wrote something calm, controlled, final. A statement, not a plea. A truth, not a question. But I didn't send it yet. Not because I doubted myself, but because I wanted to be sure the timing was perfect. Their dinner was tomorrow. Their plans hinged on me like always. Let them feel secure for a moment longer. Let them assume I'd bend again. Let them build their house of entitlement one more day. Because when I delivered my message, the whole thing would collapse. Just as I set my phone down, another text came in. This one from Rowan. Rowan, Key. I just thought you should know, they're talking in the chat again. About tonight. My heart thudded, not with hurt this time, but with anticipation. I typed back. What are they saying? There was a pause, a long one. Then Rowan sent a screenshot. And when I saw it, my eyes narrowed. Because suddenly, the betrayal wasn't just exclusion. It wasn't just entitlement. It was a plan. A deeply disrespectful plan about me, my home, and my life. The kind that made my decision shift from emotional to strategic. I stared at the screenshot, cold clarity settling over me. And slowly, a calm, deliberate smile spread across my face. Oh, I whispered. They have no idea what's coming. When I saw the screenshot Rowan sent, everything inside me went still. Not the fragile stillness of someone breaking, but the quiet, focused calm of someone finally stepping into their own power. The screenshot showed my family planning out their entire night, in my home. They were casually discussing who would sleep in my room, debating whether to hide certain decorations of mine to make the place look more family appropriate, and assigning tasks for cleaning up after themselves. As if my home was an Airbnb they already checked into. As if I didn't exist. Then came the line that sealed everything. Don't worry, Kiera won't say no. She never does. Never. That was the word that pushed me past irritation, past hurt, straight into resolve. Never was about to become tonight. I took a deep breath, straightened my shoulders, and got to work. Not with chaos, not with rage, but with strategy, the kind that leaves no mess behind, just a clear message. You don't get to use me anymore. First, I called my landlord, not to complain, to update. Hi, this is Kiera Marsh. You may get a call from my mother pretending to discuss access. I'm telling you now, no one is authorized to enter my unit except me. If anyone tries, call me and security immediately. My landlord chuckled softly. Understood. And thank you for the heads up. Next, I opened the text draft I'd written earlier, the one I never sent. I deleted it. Too gentle. I wrote something new. Something simple. Something final. Hi. Just letting you all know I won't be hosting anything anymore. My place is no longer available for family use. Please make other arrangements. Just reading the sentence filled me with something close to relief. But I didn't hit send yet. Timing mattered. I turned off my phone and slipped it into my bag before leaving the apartment. I had work to do, and one of those tasks was buying myself dinner. Alone, peaceful, deliberate. Because for the first time in years, I wasn't the one adjusting my needs for everyone else. I sat in a quiet corner booth at a Thai restaurant, eating slowly, letting the warmth of the curry melt the last bits of stress off my bones. It felt almost surreal choosing myself without guilt. By the time I paid the bill and walked back home, the sun had dipped below the buildings, the air cool and soft. I entered my apartment with a deep, steady exhale. Then I turned my phone on. It buzzed non-stop texts, missed calls, alerts. Perfect. I waited until the avalanche stopped before opening the family chat. The first message came from my mother. Mom, we're on our way to your place. Traffic is awful. Can you buzz us in? Then, Jace, move your car from the lot so we can park easier. Malia added her own brand of audacity. Hope you cleaned the place up. Mom said the couch still sinks weird. I stared at the messages for a long moment, my expression blank. Then I finally hit send on my message. Kiera, I won't be home tonight. And even if I was, you wouldn't be staying here. Please make other plans. The red receipts popped up one by one. Then the explosion began. Mom, Kiera, what do you mean? We already told the manager we'd be there. We're 5 minutes away. Jace, this isn't funny. We need the place. Malia, are you seriously choosing today to be difficult? Grow up, Kiera. I took a deep breath, feeling a strange, thrilling strength fill my chest. Kiera, you excluded me from your plans. That includes using my home. You'll need to find somewhere else to stay. Good night. Their replies came quickly, panicked, angry, scolding. I didn't even read them. I blocked each one. Then I turned on Do Not Disturb, made myself tea, and sat on my couch, finally free. They must have arrived at my building moments later, because my landlord called. Hi, Kiera, your mother is downstairs demanding entry. Should I have security escort them off the property? A smile curled at the corner of my mouth. Yes, I said softly. Please do. Consider it done. I imagined them standing outside the building, tired, annoyed, confused, forced to face a reality they'd never believed possible. The one person they depended on had removed herself from their lives entirely. Not out of spite, not out of vengeance, out of peace. Hours later, I finally checked my messages, not from them, but from Rowan. Rowan, wow, they're panicking. And honestly, it's about time. Are you okay? I typed slowly. I'm better than okay. She sent 3 heart emojis, then wrote, you deserve a family who values you, even if you have to build that family yourself. I stared at her words, something warm blooming in my chest. For years, I thought being a good daughter meant being endlessly available. I thought love meant accepting whatever treatment was given. I thought belonging had to be earned. But that night, with the building quiet and my phone blissfully silent, I realized something else. I belonged to myself first. I closed my blinds, made my tea, and wrapped myself in my favorite blanket. The weight on my shoulders was gone, evaporated, lifted, dissolved. It wasn't anger. It was freedom. The next morning, I received a single email from my mother, the only channel she had left. We need to talk. I don't understand why you're doing this. I didn't reply, not out of pettiness, but because there was nothing left to explain. She didn't want understanding, she wanted control. And I was done giving her that. Instead, I opened a new email and typed, Hi Rowan, brunch today, my treat. She replied immediately, yes. I owe you the biggest hug. I grabbed my purse, locked my door behind me, and stepped into a life that finally felt like mine. No begging for space, no fighting to be included, no apologizing for existing, just peace, real peace. As I walked down the street, sunlight warming my face, one thought settled comfortably in my mind. They left me out of the group chat, so I finally left their whole world, and honestly, it felt perfect.